What if you're not stuck, but just imagining too small? What if the reason life feels stuck isn't because you lack strength, luck, or effort, but because you've been imagining the same ending over and over? When things don't change, it's easy to believe we've reached the limits of what's possible. One night, as the fire burned low and sparks lifted into the dark, an old man spoke about a quieter reason people get stuck and the small shift that can change the ground beneath everything. The fire had burned down to a steady, breathing glow when the old man cleared his throat. Sparks lifted into the dark like wandering thoughts, and the circle leaned in without being asked. Somewhere beyond a light, an owl called and then went quiet. He wrapped his hands around a dented tin mug, turning it slowly as if warming not just his fingers but his memory. You know, he said, voice rough as bark but gentle underneath, most folks who come to me think they're stuck because they've run out of strength, or luck, or time. He gave a small, knowing smile. But that's rarely the truth. A log shifted, popping softly. Years back, he continued, I met a woman who said something I've heard 1,000 times since. She told me, plain as daylight, I just can't imagine things getting better. Said it like imagination was a tool she'd never been issued. A few listeners chuckled quietly. The old man lifted a finger. Now listen. She'd tried everything she knew, worked harder, waited longer, hoped quieter. Life kept playing the same tune over and over until even hope got tired of listening. He leaned closer to the fire, and the flames painted lines across his face. So I didn't argue with her. Didn't tell her to be positive or brave. I asked her something smaller. He paused, letting the silence stretch. I asked if she could imagine holding a cup of warm tea. One of the younger listeners nodded without realizing it. She looked at me strange, the old man said, smiling. But she said yes. I asked if she could smell it. Feel the heat through the cup. Taste it. He tapped the rim of his mug. Still yes. The fire crackled, as if approving. And right there, he said softly, something shifted. Not in her life yet, but in the ground beneath it. The listeners leaned in closer. See, imagination isn't some fancy bird that only lands on artists' shoulders. It's as common as breath. It's the bridge between what is and what might be. Every hammer, every song, every road you've ever walked, someone saw it before it existed. He poked at the embers, sending a swirl of orange into the night. The trouble isn't that people can't imagine, he said. It's that they imagine too narrowly. Same pictures, same endings, same worn-out scenes replayed until they feel like fate. A breeze moved through the trees. Someone pulled their jacket tighter. When you picture yourself calm, really picture it like you did that warm cup. You're not pretending, the old man went on. You're tuning yourself. The body listens first, then the heart. Belief follows, quiet as a cat, rearranging the furniture inside you. He glanced around the circle. That's how change begins. Not with strain, with vision. A listener near the edge frowned. But it feels strange, she said. Like lying to yourself. The old man nodded. Of course it does. New paths always do. They don't have footprints yet. He leaned back, gaze lifting to the stars. Every belief you carry was imagined by someone. Your parents, your town, a younger version of you trying to make sense of things. You inherited those pictures. But inheritance isn't a prison. The fire settled, glowing deep and steady. You can choose new images, he said. You can let yourself imagine a life that feels lighter. Not perfect, just kinder. You can whisper, maybe this could work, and let that maybe breathe. No one spoke. Even the forest seemed to listen. And here's the part folks miss, the old man said quietly. Peace isn't something you build from scratch. It's something you remember. Like a song you knew before you forgot. He lifted his mug in a small, unfinished gesture. So imagine well, he said. Not wildly, but honestly. Imagine that life might be on your side. That things don't have to be earned through suffering. Hold that picture long enough, and one day you'll realize it was never far away. The fire crackled low, embers settling like final words. And for a moment, in the hush that followed, everyone could almost feel the warmth of a cup they hadn't yet lifted.